Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Weeknote. I've tried to record this once already, and hopefully the audio is now fixed, fingers crossed. Before we dive in, it's going to be a really good video this week, hopefully, and I just wanted to ask people to press the like button if you're watching this on YouTube, or like it on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever you're viewing this. And if you're really interested in this content, you can subscribe. You can subscribe via my website, theclusterconsulting.com. There's a really cool little subscribe button at the bottom. I'll show you a little bit more about that later. And or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just click the subscribe button and the bell if you're really interested in this content. Okay, so let's dive in. Week notes, number 10. I can't believe we're at 10 already. This is great. What happened this week? Okay, so it's been a bit of a week. It's definitely been 7 days have passed. Cannot talk about, unfortunately, a lot of the things that have happened this week. However, there are some really interesting things that have happened this week that I can talk about, so we're going to dive through those. Firstly is the NHS Book a Virtual Visit service. I cannot believe it's been 1 year since myself and this amazing person called Rachel Murphy, or Rach. Rach is great, you should follow her on Twitter. She sent me this DM earlier today with this image from Time Hop. Thanks Time Hop for reminding us that 1 year ago today, here's me with my shorter hair and less green, less cool, and I'm live demoing the NHS Book a Virtual Visit service for one of the first times. This service was an incredible experience to be part of, and it was made at the height of COVID. So wave 1 of COVID, sort of April time, and the hospitals and the frontline NHS workers were becoming overwhelmed. It was a real critical period. Patients found themselves basically stuck inside of hospitals, and they couldn't see or speak with their loved ones at home. And it was really quite bad. There were news reports, everyone was watching BBC News to see the breaking news alerts and pieces like that. And throughout all of this, I unfortunately found myself in the front lines of this. I found myself in the back of an ambulance being driven to my local hospital because I had COVID. My temperature was really high and I was struggling to breathe, and my housemate had basically saved my life by calling 999, and I'm alive today because of the NHS, so a quick shout out for those great frontline workers. They deserve every single penny and more. So let's talk about NHS Book a Virtual Visit. Soon after recovering from COVID, I had the opportunity to do something really productive, to solve some real user needs, and to do so really quickly. So in terms of solving those user needs and solving them really quickly, we put together an alpha in 48 hours that allowed patients who were stuck inside of hospitals to video call with their loved ones outside of hospital. This was assisted via a frontline NHS worker, typically a nurse or a porter or someone like that, or a doctor, and it was really just such a great experience. Previous to NHS Book a Virtual Visit service being live, or being in an alpha state at least, I had witnessed firsthand how nurses and other frontline NHS workers were really struggling to connect patients with their loved ones outside of hospital. Some were even resorting to using their own personal iPhones so that they could get patients to FaceTime with their loved ones at home, or adding their relatives on WhatsApp or whatever so that they could do a video call or a Facebook Messenger call or whatever it was, a Skype call, something like that. And at the time, that was great. It allowed the patients that those frontline NHS workers were caring for to say goodbye for the last time to some of their loved ones. But we could do better. We deserved to do better, and we owed it to these frontline NHS workers to do better. Thankfully, the alpha was a really big success. We gained traction almost immediately, and over the next few days and weeks we continued building out this service. So we built it out into a beta state, which included other features, things like being able to book in advance, to schedule things in advance, the ability to reschedule. This is one that came up from some clear user needs. So we found out via talking with our users, these frontline NHS staff, that often they would book a call in for, say, 3 p.m. in the afternoon for their patient to talk with their loved ones, and at 2:30 in the afternoon they had to be rushed to have some emergency blood tests or emergency surgery, or unfortunately they might have passed away by then. And having the ability to reschedule or delete calls or anything like that was pretty critical. You know, you don't want to have just received the news 30 minutes ago that your loved one had passed away and then have an automated service that we had just built send you text messages saying, oh, your loved one is waiting for you, please hop on this video chat. It wasn't the best way of solving that problem for the user. So we built in the ability to reschedule and also delete them too. And one of the biggest wins, I think, for us that came from user needs was being able to invite loved ones from abroad. So originally, because we'd literally done this in 48 hours, we'd leveraged the kind of basic Gov UK notification engine. And this enabled us to, at a first pass, send messages to numbers with +44, so UK-based numbers. However, we found out from talking with our users that many patients inside of specifically London hospitals, but because that was where our sampling was, but it found out to be relative across all hospitals in the UK as well, or at least all hospitals that we had engagement with, that many patients wanted to talk with their loved ones, but those loved ones might not have actually been in the UK. And because you were video calling somebody, there's no problem, right? You could video call anyone across the world. If your loved one was in Antarctica or the middle of a jungle somewhere, you could absolutely do that. And so we built in the functionality to invite people from abroad too. And that was, at that moment, that was pretty great, because we were talking on we're talking multiple times a day to frontline NHS workers who are making themselves available for sort of 5 to 10 minute calls with us so that we could understand how our service was being used, that we'd just built for them in 48 hours. And then we were shipping multiple times a day these new features or these new enhancements and bug tweaks and things like that, so that we would hear, for example, in the morning from some frontline NHS staff that they really needed to be able to book in advance, and then by the afternoon that feature was there, or those set of features were there, and at least in some way, and you could then get feedback the next morning or that evening, and then it just kind of goes from there. From the very first day we made sure the service was open source. There's a link to the GitHub repo here. I'll put a link to this blog post in the video description, so you should be able to get to that quite easily. And we received feedback and advice from folks literally all around the world. It was such an incredible experience and really helped me understand that the open source community is a fantastic community. I love them. Thank you for your help. The service was also featured in Wired and won some national awards, which was pretty awesome. There's also a full blog post written by the fantastic Luke Morton if you're interested in kind of diving into that a little bit more. Most importantly though, it connected loved ones with each other in their moment of need. And to me, that trumps every other possible success metric. And it was just such a fantastic thing to be part of. And I'm so thankful and happy that I was part of that. And I can't believe it's been a year. Wow. So that's just a bit of a reflection on that. Next, moving over to content creation. So this week I've been continuing to map out a course. I'll be able to share a little bit more about this in the coming weeks, so make sure you're subscribed for that. You can subscribe if you're reading this on my website, theclusterconsulting.com, via the blue button on the right hand side of this page. It's just down here, the subscribe button. You pop in your name, you can take it from there. In terms of other content creation though, I've been following some advice from one of my favourite science YouTubers. In fact, I think they're my favourite science YouTuber, called Simon Clark. And they've started using Notion, I think last year maybe, to map out all of their upcoming content. And I saw that video that they put out and I was like, wow, I need to also put order to all this chaos. So I started using Notion too. And it's awesome. I'm so thankful that Simon decided to share that's how they did it, at least at the time, because it's been super useful for me to kind of copy, but in a productive, helpful way, what they do. And it's worked wonders for me and it's been super helpful. In fact, I'm going to be stealing Simon's week planning template later today, so Thanks in advance for that, Simon. Here's what my Notion front page currently looks like. I won't do a fancy walkthrough just because there's lots of content in here that I can't share, unfortunately, at least not right now, but make sure you're subscribed for that. So here it is, it's called Journal with Jessica, and you can see I've got my 2021 goals here, so improving my fitness levels by working out 3 times a week, and that links to my collection below, which is improve my fitness levels. So if you were to click on this, you'd see a calendar view of all of the workouts that I'm doing or things towards my health that I'm doing. For example, I'll write in, did I meet my step goal for that day? Did I work out? Did I do my Couch to 5k run? Pieces like that. I'm also got my second goal here of ensuring success in my own business, Cluster Consulting, by gaining 3 new clients. And then we've also got explore more with friends by doing 6 big events throughout the year. You can also see some more of my collections. We've already been through the improve my fitness level one, but there's another one here for the writing one. So if you were to click on this, you would see literally every article that's upcoming. I'm getting super detailed about planning these out. There's also a whole piece in there for the course as well that I'm writing. And under the explore more, if you were to click on this, you would have this awesome table. Basically, Notion is like one big database, but it's a very accessible database, and it has emojis, which makes it way more fun to be using. And under explore more, it has ideas and kind of fleshed out examples of what I could be doing for these 6 big events across the year. That is my Notion page, and I use this literally every single day. It's great, and it helps provide me, as a tool, it really helps provide me order to the chaos of life, which I'm really thankful for. So that's it for this week. If you really enjoyed this content, you'll love what we're doing here at Cluster Consulting, so you should follow along and get the latest that we're up to. You can follow along on Twitter, LinkedIn, you can send us an email. Apologies, I have to write it like that to stop the bots. It's at the moment stopping them, so that's great, but we'll see if that continues. Or you could subscribe by clicking the blue button down here and filling out some details like your name and your email, or click like and subscribe on YouTube or Twitter or LinkedIn or literally wherever you're viewing this. Anyway, that's all for today, folks. Thanks. Bye.